1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2, 8.
YouTubers and fellow Mercedes owners, especially the C230, 04, 05, and I believe they might even stretch into the 06's body styles. This one right here. What I'm doing today is changing out my OEM alarm horn. If you're experiencing some issues with your alarm just randomly going off for no reason, and either the alarm goes off or the lights start flashing or both, and you cannot get it to shut off, it pretty much comes on intermittently whenever it wants to. I remember one time I was driving down the street, my alarm was going off. People thought I had stole this vehicle, and since I apparently look kind of young and don't quite fit the bill for being a Mercedes owner, I had some people stop me or try and stop me from getting into my car at one time, and kind of had to let them know that the alarm was having some electrical issues. Now, the problem with these alarms is they sit at the bottom of the fender well of the vehicle. So that alarm is actually located on the passenger side wheel right underneath this plastic right here. And the problem with that is because the alarm sits so low, it does get wet when you're driving through rainy weather, puddles or whatnot, and it tends to cause a short in the alarm housing itself or on the circuit board, and water builds up in there and corrodes the board, which is causing your short. I went ahead and I purchased a new one off of eBay. Now, there are two versions of this alarm. As you can see, this OEM model has a flatter circumference at the front bell, and this really doesn't make a difference. The plugs are still the same. You just need to know which one to buy, and the numbers are pretty much on the back side of this thing, so that you can order the correct one. Pretty much, if you're buying online from a used yard out of state somewhere, it's gonna pretty much give the listing of what cars it can fit. But this is the one for my 2004 Mercedes C230 compressor sports sedan, which is obviously the supercharged version. So what I wanted to show you was what actually goes on in here, and I had cut this one open. This is the one that was malfunctioning, and the problem is corrosion. And if you look in here, you can see how the board got corroded. Now these are backup batteries, and they're gonna go bad, and so what happens is they corrode the board, and this is how you tell if this is your problem. Now, I had a Dremel into this thing and cut it out. I could have cut it out much nicer, I'm sure, and then probably cleaned up the board a bit. But what was the point? I wanted to be sure that I was able to identify the issue, and this is why I cut it open. So this is probably what you're experiencing right here. If your alarm is going off, at random times when it's not supposed to. So if you're experiencing that issue, this is definitely going to be the problem. Now, you can disconnect this temporarily, and if you want to. Only problem is when your alarm does go off, you're not going to have a siren. The alarm will still function as normal, as it should, and it just won't make a sound. The lights will still flash and everything going, but you're not going to have those random alarms at 1 o'clock in the morning. So I just want to kind of show you that this is the actual housing that is mounted underneath the car, and it's kind of mounted this way. It does have a screw in the back side. This is going to be your T40 bit, and in order to remove this, and what holds this in place is just 3 simple little nuts in there, and you're going to go ahead and remove those in order to pull this out. So I forget what size this is, but I'm sure you have the right tool to pull it out, so it's not going to be a problem. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and remove my front wheel. I've already taken off the bolts, and show you what part of the panels you actually need to remove up in here in order to get to that. So excuse me while I push pause and take off this wheel. Okay, so I've removed the wheel and we're looking inside the passenger side front wheel well right now. And inside here you are going to have, I believe, 6 bolts, and these ones here and here, and if we travel up here you got two more up here. These are going to be a 10 millimeter socket, and you got one more right behind the brake line, which is right here. And you're basically only going to remove this bolt and these bolts that I'm showing you back here up the path, and then up on top you got 2 more up here, and you have 2 push pins, one here and one here, that you need to remove. And this half of it is only going to remove out. You don't need to remove any bolts from the front side of it up here, so only remove those six bolts and 2 push pins, and this plastic is going to come out in order to get to that alarm, which sits roughly about right here. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and remove this, push pause, save you guys the torture of watching me undo these screws, or nuts I should say. Okay, so I went ahead and removed the panel, and this is what it looks like on the inside. This alarm piece hangs right here, and that's what you're going to be looking for if you're removing it at this part of the procedure. Now I'm putting mine back on, so you're going to do it in reverse order if you're going to be taking yours out. So what you have here, inside here, you're going to have probably 2 pieces of tape in here that are hang and have the wire connected like this, and all you're going to simply do is just remove it, and it's just a simple pin that you can grab with your hand, hold onto the tab, and slide it off. Now like I said, my connector is round, as you can see, and if you have an 04 like I do, or 05, yours is most likely going to be round as well. And this is something that you're going to be looking for when you're buying your new replacement horn from a salvage yard. So just keep an eye on that. There are 3 push pins in there, or 3 pins in there to look out for, and you want to make sure that it has that. Now you might have some other type of alarms or alarm horns or sirens that have actual connectors on the back of them, where you can you can manually put on a wire there to either 2 or 3 contact points. You don't want that type, because I really don't feel like cutting my OEM harness off, but you can mount it up that way if you wanted to. There are 3 wires on here, and I'm taking its positive, negative, and then the signal wire will most likely be what that's for. So if you want to buy one like that and then cut this off and wire it up, I'm pretty sure you can, but why do that when you can go ahead and purchase the OEM one and not have to do any modifications to your car. Now this alarm siren does roughly run about $180, I believe, is what the dealership was asking for this. I think that's a ridiculous price to pay for a simple little thing, and just make some noise. But I picked this one up on eBay for $60, so I got a pretty good deal, and it's in great condition, as you can see. I don't know what the internals look like, but it's we'll see if it works. So one other thing I forgot, you are going to have 2 more bolts at the bottom of the car, and since I removed the panel, probably not going to be able to see it, but you're going to have a plastic bolt right here when you're removing the plastic, somewhere right here, and then you're going to have another one which holds on to this plastic piece somewhere about right here, and those are different sizes. One is a metal bolt that's going to be holding up the plastic inside there, and that is going to be an 8 millimeter, and there's my 8 right there. And the other one is going to be one of those plastic nuts, I guess, and that one is taken off with your 10 millimeter. So just keep an eye on that when you go ahead and remove this plastic piece from this car, the shroud in here, that you are going to have 2 more down under here to remove, or else you won't be able to remove it. It is a little bit snug in here, so it fits pretty well, and it is kind of hard to get out, but you just kind of stick your fingers in here, remove the rubber, or remove it from here, and then kind of gently pull back on it and get it past these little nipples, because that's what pretty much holds it in place. And you got 3 nipples, 1 up on top and 2 down here. So just a little helpful tip to help you get that out. I'm gonna go ahead and push pause and mount up this alarm. There's only 3 bolts that hold this thing in place, and they are like I was showing you before. It basically has nipples like you would see right here underneath the car. Okay, and you're just gonna tighten these on there. And if you want to get a good tight, a nice little wrench and get a good tightening on it, this is going to be the 8mm as well. You don't need no other tools besides the 10, the 8, and whatever you need to take off the wheel. So I'm gonna go ahead and push pause, mount this up real quick, show you what it looks like, and get back to you on the next part. Okay, there she is. I went ahead and mounted her back up, got the alarm back in the stock location, connected up the wire. Now you're probably going to want to connect this up before you actually mount it up in here, because it is a little bit tight to get in here and try to get that in there. So my suggestion is go ahead and plug it in first and then mount it up. The wire used to be tucked up like this with a piece of tape. You don't need to. I'm just going to go ahead and tuck it back here because the plastic shroud in here does a great job of covering all this up. I'm going to give you a quick look of what it looks like underneath. And there she is. As you can see, the 2 bolts right here hold this half of the plate in there. That one right there, that's going to be your 8mm socket to tighten those up. And there she goes. All that's left now is to go ahead and button her all up. Hope you enjoyed this video. As always, I always do a lot of DIYs for pretty much any car, motorcycle. And if you like this, go ahead and hit like. Don't forget to subscribe. And as always, I'll see you next problem. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you before I put this DIY to rest, that the alarm actually works now with installing the new horn. And I got my windows down, the car's locked, and I'm gonna go ahead and open this door. The alarm should go off. And there we go. Problem solved. See you next time.